Let's get started.
Welcome back to Twinsight. Today we're going to talk a little bit about negotiating, but in particular we're going to try to give you just a handful of tips and tricks that we're also going to put in a toolkit at the end of the episode. Obviously this is a critical element of the car purchase. It can make the difference between getting a really good deal and perhaps having something take a right-hand turn on you.
Negotiating is kind of an art form, and it's expected in a lot of business transactions. I got good news for you. It's not that hard. It kind of gains your respect. Your knowledge becomes your power, and the power equals savings.
But as we're going to talk about through these tips and tricks, a lot of it is just staying calm and keeping control of the circumstances.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we say that silence and mystery can perhaps be your greatest assets. What do we mean by that?
There's an old saying in negotiating that he who speaks first loses. And although that's true in a lot of circumstances, it's not all bulletproof. What I mean by silence and mystery, I don't want you to volunteer any information when not asked. They're trying to size you up. You're trying to be mysterious in what your actual goals are. You're in a pressure-filled environment, and a lot of people don't make the best decisions when under pressure.
And salespeople perhaps play on that and try to get you to justify something in your mind. What's the problem there?
So I don't care whether it's a refrigerator, a house, or a suit. Once you justify it in your mind, you kind of let your guard down, and that's when they pounce on you.
You're kind of in the pathway to purchase at that point. Now, setting your parameters perhaps helps a little bit with that.
You got to set your parameters before you go in. And I want to say one of the first rules in negotiating, be prepared to walk away. Say to yourself, I might not make this deal today. Be prepared to walk away. But we've talked about how to negotiate the price of a car or the price of the car you're financing. Know your parameters before you go in and stick to them.
Okay. Now, not being afraid not to answer a question sounds perhaps problematic, but it's...
Somebody asks you a question, you're the customer. You're the one that has the power. You're the one in control. Don't answer the question. Or you might want to answer it with something like, it depends, or what are you offering?
Okay, so in other words, you can turn the tables a little bit and then take back control of the circumstances.
Let me just interject here, Chris. If a salesperson were to say to you, what would it take for you to buy this car today? You can answer them with a question. What are you offering? It takes the pressure off of, it takes the focus off of you and puts it back on them.
Now, if you're still on your heels a little bit, perhaps take a break.
This is very important. I love this aspect. I mean, I've told people when they're negotiating a deal, don't be afraid to get up in the middle of the deal, walk away. Go use the restroom, go make a phone call, go to their service department and watch the TV for 5 minutes in their waiting room, or even tell them, we're going to go get a bite to eat and we'll be back in 2 hours.
Check your emails, check your text messages, even if you have to fake a telephone call.
Make it look like you're busy.
Okay. And then again, beyond that, walk away if you need to kind of recollect yourself.
I always say that.
And make them thinking about it.
Yeah, and make them think about it. That also adds to the mystery. They don't know how qualified, I don't know if that's the right word. They don't know how committed you are to buying this car today. They do not want you to leave.
And they also don't want to know that perhaps there's someone else who has to approve the decision or be part of the conversation.
Exactly. Bring somebody with you. Now they don't know if they're talking to one person, 2 people, 3 people.
And Chris, let me add, sometimes you take a break, even if it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I know if you're doing a project, you take a break 5 minutes, 10 minutes, you come back, you can see it a lot clearer when you come back.
Remember the saying, sometimes you got to step out of the frame to see the whole picture.
And how about the HALT principle?
HALT, I learned this in a sermon. Shout out to Charles Stanley. HALT. If you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, don't make any decisions if you're any one of these 4 emotions.
And you also shouldn't have principally the monthly payment too harshly in mind?
That's a very important subject right there, because so many people worry about their monthly payment. As we've talked about in the past, your monthly payment is really only half of your total car expenses with maintenance, insurance, gasoline, and so forth. Never negotiate on what the monthly payment is, especially if they want to add something in and they say it's only $16 a month. Remember your parameters, be prepared to walk away, and stick to them.
Chris, let me add, if you tell them what your monthly payment wants to be, sometimes they can take that number and work the deal backwards. Let's just pick a number and say, you want to say, I want my payment to be under $400 a month. First of all, they're going with $399, not anything less. And then you can't get there. They might come to you and say, great, we got your payment to $399, but instead of 64 months, it's 72 months. So they got your payment, and then they're stretching it out another year. Remember, dealers talking months, not years. It's really years.
And you're paying more money ultimately.
Yep, because you're paying interest on that money.
Now, flipping it though, perhaps don't issue lowball offers toward the dealer.
So in reality TV nowadays, everybody's lowballing everybody. I want 15,000. I'll give you 8. That's going to get you nowhere. These dealerships are good for your community. They employ a lot of people, and they have to make money. You got to be respectful. I would say that, if they're asking $28,000 for a car, don't offer them 22. You probably want to start somewhere in the 25, 26 range.
And they're not making a lot of money on a new car at that.
On new cars, they're not making a lot of money. And for me, whether I'm buying a refrigerator, a used car, or a tractor, I always ask the question, what's the best price you would take for it? And get them to give you a number.
Great. We hope you got insights out of this. We're going to attach these as takeaway negotiating tips.
All right. Make sure you smash that like button. Subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what you found insightful, what you want us to talk about in the future. I'm Ricky.
I'm Bobby.
I'm Chris.
Be strong and courageous.